So far, Krishna has been telling us about the various ways with which Karma Yoga can be practiced. Sacrifice is fundamental to Karma Yoga. Sacrifice can be in various forms. And he has listed down some of the forms that we all can follow. In a broad sense, sacrifices can be grouped into sacrifices associated with indriyas, sacrifice associated with the physical body, sacrifices associated with the mind, and sacrifice associated with the Atman, and also the yajna. Sacrifice is yajna, they are interchangeable, right? That's a meaning. And yajna associated with the breathing pattern, pranayama, and sacrifice or yajna that is performed with discipline in terms of eating, in terms of cleanliness, and in terms of observing an austerity, living a life of simplicity, not hankering or having any desires, right? Let go of things. So these are some of the yajna with which one can practice the art of Karma Yoga. There are many ways. That is what is being outlined. Now in the next verse, he's going to talk about or recap how these many ways should be learned and practiced. So let's see what it is. "32, you'll have to see. Evam bahuvidha yajna vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidhitan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase." Evam bahuvidha yajna. These are the many forms, the various forms of yajna that have been described. Those have been described to you. Brahmano mukhe. These are through the, I'm not saying it of my own wish. These are all the forms of yajna that are spoken in the Vedas. So Brahmano mukhe. There is authority through which I am speaking. So even Krishna speaks, he doesn't have to quote any reference. He doesn't have to say that I'm taking these examples from Vedas. But still, when he speaks, he takes reference. And he says that all these are knowledge that is available in the Vedas. I'm not speaking random stuff. Karmajan vidhitan sarvan. Karmajan. So these are all yajnas that are born out of actions, not out of inaction, but out of actions. For this, you need to do some action. It is not that by not engaging in actions, by abstaining from life, and simply by excluding ourselves and restraining ourselves by telling ourselves that I'm going to be a secluded person, I don't want to be in this world where it's full of anything, right? Desires, and I don't want to be part of it. This world is full of jealousy, hatred, and evil. And so I'm not that, and let me stay away from all this. That is not an exception. He says that no, these are all born out of actions, and these yajnas will have to be performed, and the root is action. Engage yourself in action and still perform the sacrifice. All of them are, the root is actions. Evam jnatva vimokshase, that's how he concludes the verse. Evam, by knowing these, jnatva, evam jnatva is by knowing this truth, that these are all born out of actions. Sacrifice itself is associated with actions. Only when we perform action, sacrifice is born. Right? If there is no action, no one can say that I sacrificed. In every action, in every sacrifice, there is an action involved. It can be sacrificing the fruit of it, sacrificing the ownership of it, sacrificing any pleasures in life while practicing all the forms of yajna. Apo yajna, yoga yajna, there are many options that has been spoken in the previous. Everything involves action. If you want to perform yoga, Ashtanga yoga, it is actions. So these are all filled with actions. And so you cannot escape that. By knowing this, that person becomes free. Evam jnatva vimokshase. You also become free when you know it, Arjuna. That is how Krishna here takes it to a logical point where he just says that all these forms of yajnas are available, and when you practice, and all these yajnas are part of action or part of the karma yoga. If you know it, then that person will move towards freedom. And let's see what happens in the next. Now the comparison happens. Which is better, which is not better, right? What is good, what is not good, how to perform while doing this yajna. So the next verse is going to speak about that. Shreyan dravyamaya yajna jnana yajna parantapa sarvam karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. So Shreyan Dravyamayat Yajna Jnana Yajna Parantapa. So there are, Shreyan means best, which is good, right? Which is auspicious. Shreyan Dravyamayat Yajnat. Better than the Dravya Yajna. There are two types of yajnas that are being compared here. And he says, Krishna says that one type of yajna is better than the other type of yajna. What are the two types? The two types of yajna is referring to in this shloka. One is Dravyamayad yajna, and the other one is Jnana yajna. What does this mean? When we are performing actions, what he says is, when you are performing sacrifice, give importance to the intent of doing than to the physical aspect of doing. Dravyamayat yajna means when you are doing your actions. sacrifice. Pay attention not to the material nature of your things of doing, but to the spirit and intent of doing. So the simple example is somebody donating the tube lights to the temple. Right? That is an action. They are doing a material yajna, you can say. Sacrifice, right? Material. They are providing fans and tube lights to the temple. He says that is okay, but even better than that is have the intention that people will benefit by this. That is why I am giving it. When people sit through April, May, June, then they will really appreciate this fan, and they are devotees of Vishnu. That is why I'm giving. That is why I have money. I'm doing this, not to take any credit. If I wanted to write my name on the fan and the tube light, and that is why I'm doing it for publicity purpose, then that is Dravyamaya Yajna. Dravyamaya Yajna. Right? Because I'm just materially, I'm donating it still. The action is still true. I was the one who donated that. No one can deny it because my name is also written on it. Even if someone denies it, that's why I wrote the name there. This tube light is donated by so and so. That is inferior. In the shloka, Krishna says that is inferior yajna. Even though you are doing a yajna, that is inferior. But instead do it with an intent, thought. So any action that we perform, if you look at it when we are in the course of life, right, many actions we perform. Most actions, we wanted to take credit for it, whatever that we are doing, or we wanted to do for fulfilling ourselves, our desires, our wish, our ambitions, or our people's desires, wish, ambition. And then we will finally think that I did something good, and will I get punyam? That's all I wanted. I mean, I'm a good person. I wanted this good things to happen to me, and but what we are not asking ourselves is this question: have we planted the thought, a good intention in the first place while doing the action? It can be helping a relative, it can be helping a friend, or it can be doing anything without expecting anything from others, service to others or organization or any such great thing. But what thought that we planted within ourselves is what Krishna says that determines, that should be supreme. That yajna is much better than dravya yajna. If someone donates $10,000, but with a little bit of expectation that I should be appreciated for this, then if another person doesn't have any money, but he or she is willing to give 2 hours, 4 hours without any expectations, then he says that is better than this $10,000. Because this, even though the $10,000, and even though that $10,000 is useful maybe to feed the poor, let's say, and hundreds of poor people had a great food that day, but still that is inferior, because this person, when he or she was giving the $10,000, they had in mind that thought of ownership. I am giving it, and I wanted to get name or fame or something, tax benefits. I donated it. I donated millions of dollars. Why? Because I want to avoid tax. I don't want to really donate. If there is no such tax provisions, I will not ever do it. But I have to do it because so that I get some tax rebates. Then we cannot go back to Krishna and say that give me some punyam because I have donated it, right? Because already we have claimed the tax benefits. So intention of actions or intentions of sacrifice is very important. That's what in this sloka he says that Dravyamayat yajnat jnana yajna parantapa. Jnana yajna is much, much better than Dravyamaya yajna. Sarvam karma khilam partha. Everything is action bound. Or any type of action, any type of sacrifice we do is bound with actions. And that actions, again, he is restating that action culminates in intelligence, knowledge. That is the pure intelligence. Nothing else is. Pure intelligence is that where we do not do the yajna, perform an action with anything else, with any previous notions or ideas about the action, about how I will get benefited or any such thing, but purely as an yajna in itself. That is the supreme intelligence. That's what he says in the shloka. Now let's move on to the just to give an example, even more better example to appreciate is there is a story in Srimad Bhagavatam. They say Krishna was playing with his friends, and it was so hot that day. Kids got tired, and they wanted to take a break and have some food. Some buttermilk and food will really help. And they looked around, there was no houses, and at a far away distance, there were some few Brahmana few houses. And so Krishna couldn't walk anymore. He sat down under the tree and he asked his friends, go and ask those Brahmana people, they will give you some food. Bring it. We all will sit here and eat. I'll just rest here. Few of you go and get it. And so those four boys ran towards the houses of the Brahmanas. They have been doing some yajna on that day, some homa, Sudarshana homa or any such thing. And these four kids ran towards those kartas. Kartas means those who are doing the yajna. They approached those Brahmanas and then asked, we are 10 of us. We were playing here and we got tired. We are hungry, thirsty. Any food will really help us. Krishna is also sitting there. And these Brahmanas who have been performing the yajna, they were in the middle of it. And then they said, no, not now. Because we are in the middle of the yajna. And only after we finish this yajna, we will offer it to Vishnu. And then we can give it to you. So not right now. Go away. We have so many mantras yet to recite. Come back later. But these four kids were so much hungry, so much dissatisfied with the answer, with the reply. They cannot go back. They don't have enough energy. Nor can they go empty-handed, because they know for sure that many other of their friends were sitting there without any food. And so they just waited, not knowing what to do. The women of the house, they were preparing food. They were the wives of the Brahmanas who were performing the yajna, and they were preparing food in the backyard, and they saw these four kids asking for food. So they called those four kids to the backyard through the back door, and they said, don't worry about them. We will give them food for you and also to Krishna. Vishnu, that is going to take longer. When right in front of our eyes we see four kids starving, how can we wait until we offer to Vishnu? Vishnu is not going to be mad. So take these food. This is for yourself, you four, and give these to Krishna and others. So they gave that food And those four carried the food back to Krishna and their friends. So that is how the story goes. So there, the explanation that is given to that story was the yajna that is performed by the Brahmanas were purely Dravyamaya yajna. They wanted to just offer something and then perform the yajna or the homa, right? By simply reciting the mantra and then offering something while performing the yajna. And they thought that that is when Vishnu will be pleased. On the other hand, the women of the house, they knew for sure that that is not the right way. When children are starving right in front of the eyes, there is the question of waiting and offering to God and then giving it to them. Right there in front of us, there is a reality. And that should be performed. That is intelligence. Now, Krishna calls those women acted more intelligently than these Brahmanas. Even though the Brahmanas were the most well read, they knew all the Vedas, they knew all the Upanishads, the gist of it, the Vedanta, but still they stuck to the Dravyamaya Yajna, to the book. They stuck to the book than the meaning in the book, than the spirit of the message. They were attached to the letter, not to the spirit. Now Krishna says that be spirit oriented. Do not be just go by what is written there, but read between the lines and hold that in your mind when you Jnana Yajna is precisely that Yajna that we are practicing, he's asking us to practice is precisely that. Do not simply go and then do things with materialistic nature and then expect you will be freed. No, you're going to come back again and again. And do not complain at the end saying that I did all that you want me to do. But I'm going to ask you, you did all that what I wanted you to do, but did you have the thought in your mind, the true thought that this doesn't belong to me, but instead I'm doing it for his sake? The true thought. But instead, if you do everything physically, that is not going to result in any positive outcome. That is what he's meaning. And that reminds me about many things. We love to ask many questions around that. A lot of people will do this if you have observed the modern days. If something doesn't work, I mean, I'm not saying that there is Veda itself has an anga called astrology. I'm not against astrology because it is part of Vedas. But it's the way that we respond to it is, we'll have to think about it. Most of us, most people, not us, I won't say us, most people will just want a few things to happen their way. The way they have taught their kids' education or kids' marriage or property, or there are a few things that we have in our life as the priority. What should be the priority that we don't care. But there are a few things that we define as the priority and we go behind that, right? And towards that, if something is not going the way that we wanted, the property should be in my name, my daughter should get married. These are all the things that I have in my mind. I wish that it happens. So now all of a sudden what I do, it's not happening the way that it is happening. Then I go back to the astrologer, say that this is my horoscope, this is this, that is that. See what's going to happen. Predict the future, right? Which is okay. That is okay. In those days, that such kind of predictions, not many people will do it. People will go take what is happening to me is purely out of my own karma, and let me live my life accepting what is happening to me. That is, and if I can, anything that I can do, I will do it now. That should be the right approach. Astrology, predicting the future, whatever it's going to happen in future, let's assume that it is true, it will happen. It's not going to be this way or that way. But knowing that future, either it is going to give us a false hope, or it is going to make us feel even more worried. These are the two things, right? It's going to give a hope. It's not still 100% true that it's going to happen that way. But still people go and then take and then ask and then trouble. And that is precisely the reason that if there are 100 astrologers, 90% of them are fake. Because people know for sure that they can make money out of it. And many people claiming to be masters of astrology, and they start dishing out ideas. Because there are few people who can listen and then go by it and build hope. Why not? I get some few dollars out of it, then I'll start giving advice. And we are those are the people, those believers are the ones who are increasing the number of such fake astrology. Now, those few of the astrologers will say that do this parihara so that your daughter or your son might get into a good college or get married or whatnot, right? And they will be scared to ask the son or daughter because they may or may not be interested to do it, right? They will say, no, I'm not interested in it. But still the mom or dad or the sister or the uncle or whoever that is who is interested in that astrology, who wanted to make things work their way, they will listen to the astrology advice and they will think that, okay, instead of them, can I do it? Then astrologer cannot say, okay, do it, you practice it for them. Or they'll say, no, they'll have to do it. Something like that. But yes, at the end of the day, they will start, let's say, if they say that you can do it, then that person will start doing it. There is no way it is written that you can reduce others' good karma or increase others' bad karma by your actions. Any action that we perform is for ourselves. Good or bad, karma stays with that person, the actions. Me doing something is not going to do anything to others. All right. So maybe, if we do some bad, if I really act mad with others, yelling at others, I'm increasing my bad karma, and others' bad karma, if they don't speak anything, their bad karma will go down. That is quite possible. But other than that, I cannot do on their behalf. You cannot give a proxy to good karma and bad karma and say that, okay, I will do it on your behalf. That is not possible. And then they will go and ask the astrologer that, no, that person is going to college or they are modern. My daughter or son will not listen to all these things of vrata, or if they are been asked to do 48 days of vratam, whatever, right? Just stay, do not take any food in the morning, or do not eat food with salt in the morning, anything that can be. They are all yajna. They are all part of yajna, not actually denying it. But that will have value only when that person truly believes and takes a vow that next 40 days, I'm going to observe this pure mind so that I accomplish this goal. Then it will definitely, that goal will be met. But that person should be with a pure mind, determined and decide that, yes, I'm going to take this vow and follow this vow. Then it will definitely work. And their astrologers are giving a recommendation that why don't you take a vow? That is what they mean when they say parihara. Do this vow. Promise yourself that you will do it, and do it with dedication. No proxy will work. No insincerity will work. So what mom or dad will do is they will cook some food and then they will cook without salt, and then they will give it to the daughter who's about to get married or not getting married or whatnot, right? Any such, not getting admission into college or any such thing. Now, daughter will just taste the food and say that, what is this? It doesn't have any salt. No, we are just doing this for you. No, mom, I don't even like it. Then why don't you pour extra sambar that has salt? Right there, everything is a mess, right? So it is, that person is not even having any belief or trust in any process. How is it going to work? Then they will say, go back to the astrologer and say that, as you asked, we gave our daughter 40. It's not a diet restriction, right? It's no salt. It's not a diet. It is a mental vow that we take. We cannot go back to the astrologer and ask that I did whatever that you asked me to do, but still my daughter is not getting married. We'll ask that. Most people can ask that, right? Sincerity. So the spirit is more important. The thought or the intention is more important than the materialistic doing of eating without salt or giving this person. And also they will say that, since you're not, since your property is not, property will be involved in some kind of court case or whatnot, right? Locked up. It's not moving, progress. They will go then ask the astrologer saying that court case is not progressing. What can I do? And as a chief justice, that astrologer will give some judgment. He will say that go and then give dhoti and sari to 50 married couple. So then they will say that, okay, they will go to the shop and then they buy all, and then not with mindset, and they will give and then they will write it down. 40 to 50,000, 60,000, 60,000 rupees or 50,000, $5,000, so much. Okay, we done it. As long as the court case goes in my favor, I'm happy. I don't mind spending this 5,000. The mindset is about spending versus court case working than generously helping needy people. If the intention, that's why when the astrologer mentioned give the sari and dhoti to 50 people, first thing, when whoever who is listening, thing is, okay, have I done any kind of donations in the past few? Have I helped anyone? Why is this person asking me to do it? That means that the universe is asking us to do it. God, in the form of that astrologer, is asking me to be generous. You be generous, your problems will be taken care of. So the generosity is missing. That is why somebody is reminding you to be generous. That point will be lost, and we'll go behind doing it as a part of exchange, a deal that we made with God, astrologer, and us, as if like it's a tripartite deal. We will go give, and then we will go back to the astrologer and say that last time when we met 3 months ago, you asked us to do it and we did it. When can we expect? Now astrologer, where will he go? He will just split hairs. He can only tell. It all will happen if those people involved do it with true thought and good intention, right intentions, not even good intentions, right intentions. So do not interpret it as good intentions. Good intentions should always be there, but right intentions. Oh, okay, so that is missing in me. That is when I'll have to research myself and then try to do that, right? And then, anxiety, and people will get anxiety attack and then depression, this, that, and astrologer will say that right now this is not correct. That planet is not correct. This planet is not correct. Take a 40-day trip to this temple, that temple, that temple. It is about changing the mood, changing your mind, changing your thoughts. When you are visiting one, go visit the temple for 40 days without any break. That means that is an opportunity to break the pattern of life that we are going through. Because morning to evening, keep on sitting in one place and then thinking about our own problems, naturally anyone will get into depression. Changing the activity will get out of depression. That is the whole idea, where people ask to break the pattern. Next 40 days, do this new pattern. And instead of asking you to jog or take a walk, why don't you go to a holy, divine place where thoughts will be pure? That is the whole idea, where your thoughts will also be refined, right? So understand the spirit is what Krishna is trying to tell. Do not simply do actions with the physical thing in mind. Okay, I've been asked to do this, I will ask to do this. I will not think beyond that. Then there is a problem. There is an intelligence, there is a knowledge that is above all this, that is hidden. Try to understand the hidden message and follow that message and have that thought and intention in your mind when you are doing your actions. Then simply performing physical actions and saying that I did my thing right. Likewise, I'm going to spend few with 1 or 2 examples, because this is where we do a lot of mistakes. That is the reason that I'm spending more on this. Every one of us, including myself, it's kind of reminder to myself, you can say. So if you look at it, there will be this. I have experienced this kind of things. The annual Srardha that we all perform, Srardham we perform, not we all, few of us perform for our ancestors, right? For our dad or anyone who is not alive, we perform that. When we are performing, the thought there is, we ideally it should be held in mind that I'm doing it for my ancestor, and he can be born again, he can be in any form, he can be born anywhere elsewhere in this place, right? And I should not have any other intentions, and I should stay myself focused, just thinking about whatever that I'm doing. I'll have been asked to perform that task and I will do it. I don't mind how whatever I'm doing will help that person who is already passed, or right. And everyone should be respected on that day. That is my attitude, because I'm thinking about my dad when I was performing that Srardham. That should be in my mind. Now, people on that day morning, that is the reason that they say during that day, do not eat anything. Because once you start eating before doing that puja, mind will go towards food. Oh, that is too spicy. Reduce the spice. What is, you are supposed on that day at least think about your dad who gave you birth. Thank him for that. That is the whole idea. All right. So thanking that person who has given birth to me is the intention there. We repay him through that mode by performing that yajna. On that day, that is an yajna day. That yajna is for ancestors. That should be the thought I should hold in my mind. No other disturbance. Food, or it has been that person who is performing it for his dad or mom, right? Whoever, for in my case, I'm performing for my dad. That person, the previous night, should sacrifice comforts. That person is expected to sleep on the floor. And people will ask why. It doesn't make any sense at all. And people will say that, okay, you're asking me to do, I'll do it, but still it's so aching. But the intention there is, it is a vow, it is a discipline we build within ourselves to focus not to indulge in pleasures. Because once we start indulging in a nice, cool bed, relaxing, then my mind will not be oriented towards performing the task the next day. Right? So that is the reason that they have imposed certain disciplines. They have enforced. It's not enforced. So as a person, I should understand why it has been asked to do that way. I cannot be cursing others, saying that, oh, I have to do this, it's so hard, and I've been asked to wait until 12 o'clock to perform this puja for ancestors, and then only I can eat. All these are not, it's not even necessary. It needs to be performed. Let me do it at 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock, I will still have my food and let me go to work. Right? So that is how we have simplified things. We have lost the intent in it. then we started doing it as a ritualistic. That's what they call it, right? We started doing the ritual. So the reason I'm bringing is, if you are listening to this still, and if you are with me still, then think about any action that you do towards any action, literally. Most importantly, towards this astrology, this religion, in the name of God, anything that we do, follow the spirit thought. That thought process and intention is more important than simply doing it. A person got hurt. You are on the way to the temple, let's say. You have been asked to sit in an important puja, which you have agreed to, and you are very much interested, and you are so devoted to it, and you are just driving the car towards the temple. You want to sit in the puja and perform the puja and finish the puja, so that whatever you're thinking will happen. And on the way, you see a person who needs an help, a friend of yours, let's say. On the way, they give a call and say that, I really, really need your help. You have to take a U-turn, and then you want to just help it. But most of us, we think that, sitting there in the temple, it's so boring, 3 hours sitting, who will sit? Instead, my friend called me. So I'm not saying that kind of thing. This is really, really an important puja that you really wanted to do for the betterment of health or whatnot, right? Wealth or whatnot. You cannot afford to miss that kind of puja you are heading towards. But your friend calls. Which one will you choose? Now, based on whatever that we discussed, it's up to you to decide which one you choose. That is how it should help in the decision making, right? All this knowledge, whenever we learn any knowledge, how will it help? It helps only during decision making. Otherwise, it is of no help. When I'm about to do something, I will use my knowledge that I heard or thought about before, and then decide, okay, let me make, using the knowledge that I have, I should do it this way and not that way. That is when the knowledge that we heard, that we learned, is useful. If a knowledge that stays in our mind and that is not helping in a situation, but it is still there, I know it. Yeah, I know it. But still, I will do it the other way. Then that knowledge is useless, right? So that is what we have to, we should use this knowledge, what Krishna is asking us to do. Let's move on to the next verse. Okay. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinaha. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. So he says that in order to learn deeply about these practices, know that you have to follow this path. You have to approach, number one, you should approach a guru and learn this. Pranipatena, approach a guru. Pariprasnena, number two, approaching the guru, do not go and stand in front of the guru just like a tall tree. A tree cannot talk anything. Ask, inquire, ask. How do you ask? You ask for knowledge intelligently with humility. Pariprasnena. Prashna means questioning, inquiry. With humility. Ask after meeting a guru, number two. And lastly, the guru, don't expect the guru to give you the answer right away. What should you do? Sevaya. Perform service unto guru. Please that guru. And then he will reveal the answer. That is how you should learn. It can be any yajna that we have learned before. The yoga yajna, or including the dravya yajna, the tapo yajna, all those practices. It is what we all learned right now is just high level view of it, right? What are all there? Okay, these are all there. Now, this in itself is not done. Knowing this thing will not help us get anywhere. We need to immerse ourselves into that. That immersion is possible only with the help of a guru. And he or that guru will know whether this person, what is suitable for that person. The customization, we call it these days, right? Based on the preference, based on the strengths, weaknesses, preferences. Guru knows what is right approach, whether you can go the Ashtanga Yoga path, or whether you can go the Tapo Yajna path, or whether you can go the Pranayama path. A guru knows it based on your strengths and weaknesses. And so approach this and learn it. Now Krishna is telling Arjuna indirectly to all of us. Right? That is when, and when you are going there, go with humility. Check your arrogance at the door. That's what he says. Do not go to the guru and say that, so I heard that I heard from Krishna that you will give me some knowledge. How about some half a kilo of knowledge? That won't work, right? Go with humility. Show your humbleness and ask with humility. And he's not going to still say, because you'll have to prove yourself. And for proving, you will have to serve him and please him. That is when you, and that person, him or her, whoever that is, right? Enlightened person can be a man or a woman. Whoever that is, whoever that we all take as guru, that person, these three things. Upadekshanti te jnanam. Upadekshanti. The knowledge will be given to you by that person. You will be told that knowledge only then. And who will say that? Jnaninah tattvadarshinaha. Those who have truly seen the truth themselves. Those gurus are the ones who are jnanis. And those jnanis are the ones who are not only good at knowing what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, but also have experienced the truth. Knowing is one thing, experiencing is entirely different. Knowing, any person can do. Sanskrit knowledge is all what you need to know the meanings of what Krishna is about to say. But experiencing needs a different skill. Those jnanis are the right gurus who you should approach. And they can tell you the right way to get to what you wanted. That's what Krishna is now saying here. And I'm sure that most of us will have guru, acharyas. If not, then you must identify with by talking to your parents or ancestors or whoever that is appropriate to your culture, right? And then approach them and then learn it. Is what we can translate this shloka to our own needs. Upadekshanti te jnanam. To you, that knowledge will be given. Okay. Let's move on to the next verse. There he says, share. Yajñātva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshena drakshyasyatmanyato mayi. So this is one of the beautiful verses where he summarizes what is it that I will do after approaching a guru, and then I practice this, I learn about it, but what is the end result of all is what is mentioned here. After knowing this, yajñātva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava na punarmoham. Punar is again. Moham means delusion. Yajñātva, knowing this truth, knowing and approaching a guru and learning the truth about how you practice, whichever way that we practice, and mastering the truth and knowing the knowledge fully, immersing ourselves deep into that with the help of a guru. We will no longer fall into the path of delusion. Delusion is what is haunting all of us, right? It is nothing else. We have been, without knowing, every one of us have the glass of delusion. And we all see this world through that glass. That's why we are not able to see things clearly. We misinterpret, we jump to conclusions, we act before thinking. Everything is because of such delusion. And he says that once you have immersed yourself by approaching a guru and knowing the true knowledge of existence, by practicing the yajna, then you will never ever fall back into the path of delusion. And never ever. That will never happen to you, Pandava. Pandava means Arjuna in this case. Yena bhutanya sheshena drakshyasyatmanyatho mayi. Yena bhutanya sheshena. Bhutani means living beings. Sheshena, living beings. You will start seeing, Arjuna, the way that you will start seeing this world will be totally different. Now, Krishna promises Arjuna that once you know the truth, your fake glass is removed. And once the fake glass is gone, you will no longer see through the glass of delusion, but you will see through clearly what has to be seen, what should be seen. Then you will see, what will I see? Then Arjuna asked, what will I see if I remove the glass of delusion? Will I see anything different in this world? I'm going to see my wife or my husband, my children, my friends, the same way that I do it, right? That's what Arjuna asked. But now Krishna says, no. Once that delusion is gone from you, you are going to see this world, that is for sure. You are going to see your wife, that is going to be true. You are going to see your husband, that is also going to be true. You are going to see the children, that is also going to be true. You are going to see the world and its people as is, but with the difference that you will see all these people and all this creation inside of me. And you will see that everything is inside me. Mayi. He finishes with my inside me. Dakshasyatmanyatho mayi. Everything you will see that inside me. Now that vision is the highest vision, when we are able to appreciate that everything is inside that Vishnu. There is nothing that anyone needs to be worried about. And a person who is able to see that everything inside this whole universe is inside the tummy of Vishnu. A person can see that. Now you look at it, to that person you cannot go and then say that it is so wrong that there are terrorists operating and their innocent lives are being killed, because everything is happening inside Vishnu. If at all anything should be anyone should be worried about, it is him and not us, right? COVID is spreading everywhere. Let's say mask mandate is removed. We are worried. If at all anything should happen, it is him. Because everything is happening inside him. Because everyone and everything and every being and every universe, multi-universe exists within him. That's what he says, that once we have the vision, the delusion is gone. That is how we'll start seeing. That truth will be quite evident. That truth will be incontrovertible. No one can deny it. It is right in front of every one of us. It is just like this. When you wake up in the morning, we see the sun rise, right? And you are seeing that it is blaring. If anyone walks up to us, a blind person, let's say, a blind person is a good example. A blind person who has been always blind, and he walks up to us and then says that it is so dark. Will we believe it? We will say that, what are you talking about? So bright. That is how it will be. When the glass of delusion is gone, we will say that everything is inside Krishna. What are you arguing about? What are you guys worrying about? What are you guys fighting for? It becomes totally as evident as a person who can see the sun or moon, is what now Krishna is saying. Drakshasyatmanyatho. You will see it clearly. That is the state that we all can. The thing is, every human can get to that state, but we should be willing to shed that glass of delusion. And that glass of delusion, to remove it, some work needs to be done to ourselves, to our life, to our existence. That is not going to happen magically. It's not going to go away. If we keep letting that delusion glass within us, we will start seeing things differently, incorrectly, and keep on doing the same thing, pattern in life, back and forth again and again, and being born here again as another human being, or some other birth, or some other birth, and some other birth. Because every time we are not able to do it right, we are not able to get that delusion removed from us, we will be born again, given another chance. We will be given another try. Try now, this time. Just you go to a optometrist. They are trying a different glass, right? So every birth is like trying a different glass. How about now? Will this glass fit? Will that glass fit? So now imagine, by indulging and by doing wrong things, we are making only our power or that vision get worsened by the moment, by the day, right? So more and more and more and more of births is what is the eventuality. But if someone is aware of it and says that, okay, now I need to take control of my life, and say that I wanted to remove that delusion that is bothering me, first we'll have to appreciate and accept the fact that we have the problem of delusional vision about this world. That is when we will start fixing it. If we think that our vision is correct about this world, then there is no fix. I don't have any power glasses, and my glasses are correct, then there is no fix. We should first appreciate that there is a problem with our glasses that we are using, then there is a fix. With that, we come to the end of this session. I'll see you all next week. Sriyah Kantaya Kalyana Nidaye Tinam Sri Venkata Nivasaya Srinivasaya Mangalam.